Is ordering a study of Bright Futures to find out if the scholarship program is improving higher education here in the state of Florida. A $780,000 grant has been given to an FSU professor to conduct this study. Whitney Ray tells us from our exclusive Capitol Bureau tonight the study comes after 2 years of cuts to the $400 million program.
Without Bright Futures, Sarah Davis wouldn't be an FSU student.
I probably would have gone to a community college close to home.
The story is the same for Taylor Costello from Coral Springs.
Probably stay at home.
Wesley Sima probably still would have pursued his MBA at FSU, but he would have entered grad school with debt.
Saving money with Bright Futures was definitely the right choice.
Florida Bright Futures is a merit-based scholarship program that allows anyone with a 3.5 GPA and a 1270 on their SAT to go to college for free, with even lesser standards being 75% of tuition paid. Essentially, it's free college in the state of Florida. This is not a Florida phenomenon, though. These programs have been spreading through the U.S. over the last few decades. These are all the states with lottery-funded scholarships: Alaska, Florida, Georgia, Kentucky, Louisiana, Massachusetts, Michigan, Mississippi, Missouri, Nevada, New Mexico, South Carolina, West Virginia, and Tennessee. You may be asking, what's the problem with this system? First off, the program is merit-based as opposed to need-based, meaning that people are receiving money who don't necessarily need the money. In other words, $500 million a year could be going to a program that doesn't necessarily need to exist. The big question is, how much money are we talking exactly? And to be honest, the amount varies from state to state. New Mexico spends over $50 million a year. Tennessee is up to about $150 million a year. Florida spends $350 million a year. And Georgia now spends on their Hope Scholarship close to $1 billion annually. The next big question is, who actually plays the lottery? And for that question, we're going to bring on Freakonomics Radio.
This is Melissa Carney. She teaches economics at the University of Maryland.
And so I just sort of started chatting with the vendor, and he said, I have people coming in spending hundreds, thousands of dollars on lottery tickets a month, a year. And so being a graduate student, I just downloaded some data and started playing around and was struck. In particular, people do spend a lot of money buying lottery tickets. And so it was just sort of a passing curiosity, really. I started wondering about what were they not buying in order to buy lottery tickets.
So let's walk through some of the numbers on lottery gambling. In the U.S., how many people play the lottery?
Half of U.S. adults surveyed say they play the lottery at some point in the past year. And
would that make it the most popular form of gambling in the U.S.?
Yeah, so by far. So 2 out of 3 American adults report gambling, and it's 50% say they play lottery. The next closest is casino, which is about 1 in 5 adults.
What do we know about people who play the lottery? What's, for instance, the socioeconomic breakdown?
Okay, so this surprises a lot of people, but people throughout the socioeconomic distribution play the state lotteries. And so it's, roughly 50 to 60% of men, roughly 50 to 60% of women, roughly 50 to 60% of people across the education spectrum, so people with, high school dropouts, high school degree, college graduates. And when you look at the absolute dollars reported spending, it's not that different across the income distribution. So sort of lower income households spend about as much in dollar terms as higher income households. The flip side of that, of course, is that it winds up being a larger share of lower income households' total spending.
The Consumerist recently conducted a study that showed that households that make less than $13,000 a year annually were spending an average of $645 a year on lottery tickets. That's close to 9% of the household's total income. This is the moral dilemma that comes with a lottery-based scholarship. If the lower socioeconomic group is spending more of their total income on lottery tickets, then they are paying a bigger price for the middle and upper middle class kids to go to college. Can we really get mad when we see graphs like these illustrating that states are making substantially more money through the lottery than they do through corporate taxes? After all, the odds of winning the Powerball are 1 in 175 million. The odds of becoming president are close to 1 in 10 million. And the odds of dying by vending machine are 1 in 112 million. So is what the government is doing unethical, or is it just opportunistic? Here's a list of countries that pay for their citizens' college education. Is this extra tax the only way to keep up in an evolving world economy? This data shows that since the implementation of Bright Futures, the number of minorities enrolling in colleges has gone up, making white people the least enrolled group in the state. A lot of the articles I came across while researching this project hated the idea of merit-based scholarships. But if we're seeing an increase of minorities and lower socioeconomic groups going to college, is rewarding students who are doing the right thing truly amoral? Are we really taking advantage of the poor through lottery scholarships? Is this a system more states should consider so we can continue to compete on a global scale? Wouldn't you like you and your child to go to college for free? I believe these are all very important questions to consider as future educators.